Good morning, everybody. So, purpose of this video. Well, multifaceted. For one, we're going to do the last cold start on the car before we get the long tube headers put on. So yes, I made the decision to go ahead and get the long tube headers put on. The problem is that nobody wants to do it. So I was lucky enough to have a shop contact me, and I have to be discreet about who it is because everybody's still so worried about all this EPA madness that's going on. But I do have a shop that's going to install them for me. So we're getting ready to leave and take a pretty significant trip to drop the car off, to get the headers put on, and then I'll have to take another trip to go and get the car on the dyno and get it tuned with the new setup. So a lot of traveling here coming up, but I'm hoping that it's going to be worth it. But just wanted to do one last cold start on the car with the stock headers and the Orla Attack catback and an X-pipe. So let's do this and see how she sounds. Part of the concern for me is once we get those headers put on, it's going to be even more ridiculously loud, and to the point where I'm not going to enjoy it. I know, I'm 43, I'm not 23, so things I've liked in my life have changed a lot over the past 20 years. I don't necessarily need the loudest car possible. Sometimes I find it annoying. Sorry, guys. And honestly, I wouldn't be changing the headers on this if that passenger side catalytic converter had not have melted. And even with high flow cats with a supercharged application on your car, it can still happen. And I don't want to be in the process or in the position to where I'm constantly having to replace the catalytic converters on this car. So with these long tube Catless headers, I don't have to worry about it again. It may mean that I'm going to have to change the exhaust if it's too loud. I mean, I've got really cool neighbors, and everybody pretty much keeps to themselves. I'm sorry I had to come in the house because the car's just too loud in the garage. A little better once she warms up. But my neighborhood, people haven't said anything about the car, and I think probably us as responsible car owners, especially when we get to these heavily modified vehicles, is we have a responsibility to our community to be cognizant of how loud our cars are. So for me, I try not to start the car before 7 o'clock in the morning. I try not to start it after like 9 o'clock at night, particularly cold starts. I don't do it. I'm not going through the neighborhood acting like an idiot and being as loud as possible. I'm going as quietly as I can. And I think people appreciate that. One of the things that I typically do, if I do have to start the car at like say 7 o'clock in the morning, I get in it, I get everything hooked up, my phone or whatever else already adjusted. And as soon as I start the car, I go ahead and put it in drive. Now, I don't know if you guys know or not, but when you do the cold start, the reason that's so loud is because it's putting extra fuel into the engine because it's cold, right? But for our cars, and I don't know if it works for any other model or brand, but for our cars, as soon as you crank it, as soon as you put it in drive, the RPM lowers. It's crazy. So as soon as you put it in drive, the RPM lowers because it realizes it doesn't need as much gas, I guess, to start. So I get in the car, as soon as I crank it, put it in drive, and it makes it much significantly quieter. So we'll be doing that this week, or we'll be doing that. We're getting ready to go do that. So I'm pretty excited about that. I also wanted to show you guys something. I have not gotten my car ceramic coated. It's on the list. Honestly, the reason I haven't gotten it done yet is because where I live here in Raleigh, every person or company that I've reached out to asking questions about getting ceramic coated, can't get a response. I mean, it was the same way when You know, I tried to get the blower installed. Apparently, people in the Raleigh area just don't need money. Who knew? But anyway, as I was like looking at it and researching it, I saw this product, the Mcguire's hybrid ceramic wax, and I'd watched a bunch of videos on it, and I was like, okay, well, you know what, 16 bucks, I'll give it a try. Let me tell you, super impressed with this product. It was one of those things where it's almost too good to be true, because once you wash your car and you get it as clean as you want, all you do with this stuff is spray it, not liberally, not a lot. And this is one of those cases where less is better. But you spray it on the car from the top down, the whole thing, hood, cab, spoiler, everything, windows, mirrors, everything. Spray it, then take your pressure washer and you spray it off. And what it actually does is the pressure washer spreads the product out over the car. And I'm going to tell you what, I am super impressed with this. The way this stuff repels water, the way the water beads. I was in a rainstorm the other day, and I got home, looked at the car the next day, no water spots. I mean, just a really, really, really good product. So if you guys are looking for a kind of a cheaper way to get ceramic coated, and you don't feel like spending $2,000 to get it done, or like me, you can't get somebody to return an email or a phone call, excellent product. So I'm going to end this part of this video here. Like I said, I can't get any video of the header installed because the shop has asked me to kind of be quiet about it because they're kind of doing it as a favor to me. We'll try to get some dyno video. Remember that the car put down 677 to the rear wheels the last time we got it dynoed with the bad catalytic converter. So excited to see what happens. So keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully this install will go well. You know, there were 3 different types of connects that you could buy for the headers, and I called the company I bought it from and talked to them, and they said I needed to get the factory connect to connect to my boiler exhaust. I just hope and pray that's what I need, because if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that me getting a supercharger installed was an absolute nightmare because Vortec accidentally sent me the wrong parts. They sent me the parts for a 2015, and that was just, it was a pain in the ass. And I don't think I even made a video that really described everything that happened, but it was a nightmare, and it was multiple trips, 4 hours away, and overnight this and overnight that part, and it was a pain in the ass. So hopefully this will go well, this will go smooth, and we'll see. So when we pick up, it'll probably be the cold start with the new headers, unless I can get some other footage of the dyno. So keep your fingers crossed that this install goes well. I'll be getting as much video as I can. Maybe I can get some dyno video, but the next part of this video will certainly be a cold start with the stainless power long tube Catless headers with the Borla attack exhaust system. So here we go. The time has come. First cold start on the Mustang since I got the new headers installed. I have driven the car with the new headers. I have not done a cold start yet. So we will experience this together. If this is anything like it has been driving the car, this is going to be ridiculous. So let's see. Yeah, pretty ridiculous. I'm sure all my neighbors are going to hate me now. Good Lord. So, new headers. First cold start, but I have driven the car a little bit. Well, actually I had to drive back home from the shop. But so what do I think about? Well, I do like the performance increase it gave me. So if you guys will remember, one of the main reasons for getting the new headers was because that passenger side catalytic converter was melted, which was pulling timing. So the car wasn't really producing the horsepower it should. Well, I can tell you now with the headers installed, she made 712 horsepower to the rear wheels. So significant performance gain for that. Very pleased. But as I've been driving it for a little bit, I've realized I do not like how raspy it is with this X-pipe. Sorry, a kid just walked in front of me. I don't like the rasp. I don't think it sounds good with the Borla attacks. So I want to switch to an H-pipe. And actually, I don't know, it might be too loud with the Borla attacks altogether. It's just a really loud setup. As long as you stay out of the throttle, it's tolerable. But once you start getting into the goodness, it's super loud. So we'll see what we do about that. I don't want to spend another $2,000 getting a new exhaust set up, but we'll just have to see how it all pans out. But super happy with the performance. The next on the list is to get us a good set of sticky tires, because 712 horsepower with these Nittos 555s, they're not doing anything. So the goal will be to get some 555 R2s put on. It's just to be a good compromise between wet and dry performance. So we'll get those on next. After that, thought I was done spending money on the car, but looks like I need to get some oil pump gears is the next thing, just to make sure that this engine continues to get all the oil that it needs. So yeah, was going to take some pictures and videos of it at the shop, but like I said, with all this EPA stuff going on right now, I don't want to expose my shop for any undue attention. I don't think that they care, but you know what, better safe than sorry. But super happy with everything as far as that goes. Like I said, I'm getting older, so maybe the car's a little too loud. Maybe I just need to get used to it a little bit longer. But it does sound very nasty, and so yeah. So look, not too bad in the car. Doesn't sound bad at all. I will say that I really like how the car sounds when it's idling now. It reminds me of a cam car. Not that this car is cam, and I'm not using a ghost cam, but it does have kind of have that aggressive little chop to it that you would see in you know, something that's cammed. You know, stoplight, no problem. Relatively tame. It's like with most things, you know, if you drive like you got some sense, it's not too bad. But once you get above about 3,000 RPMs, it starts to get loud. I think any car guy, if you have any type of exhaust on your car, one of the things that we love the most is a tunnel or an overpass. And well, we got one coming up right here, so let's see if I can get something. My little girl calls it bringing the thunder. So every time we get under that overpass, she's like, "Bring the thunder, Daddy, bring the thunder." I don't know, maybe the headers are starting to grow on me. Oh, God. What crazy times we live in. I do love the idle.